there, welcome to another Silverbird Selection game review, and today I'm looking at a Silver Range game from 1967 called Denarius. Pretty common game to find out there, in fact very common. You'll find many copies of it on eBay. My copy cost me £2.49, so let's take a look at it. Let's start as always by looking at the packaging of this game then, and here's the front cover. Fairly nice logo for the name of the game, Denarius there, but otherwise it looks like the artist who did this was just asked to throw a bunch of random space crap onto this piece of artwork. So you've got a flying saucer at the top there, you've got some kind of rocket that almost looks like a balloon, and then you've got the wings of some kind of spaceship with a big dragon painted on it. So yeah, it's a bit of a mess. Spine's alright, it's got the Denarius logo on as you'd expect, and on the back you can see also it's got some kind of surface of a planet or space station or something like that. A couple of screenshots as you'd expect, one very pink and one more blue, and the blurb about the game says you'll need lightning reactions, gut determination, nerves of steel and a good joystick to finish this game, which is very encouraging. Not sure how many times I can say the same thing without it being too boring. You're probably already bored, but here's a list of other games that are available in the $1.99 Silver Range at this point. Here's the information about mail order, and here's the instructions. Denarius, copyright 1987 Software Creations. And it says the evil Rignalian race have placed their tyrannic space orcs around the planets of the solar system and their satellites, and deposited chlorine pods which will be released in order to support Rignalian life in their impending colonization. Your task is to swoop through the 16 occupied cities, scooping away the chlorine pods whilst eliminating all manner of hostile life forms which exist among the network of plasma shielded buildings, no less. There's some loading instructions, and the gameplay instructions are about as basic as it gets. Stick a joystick in port 2 and you can press space to activate immunity, and you also get an extra craft after 25,000 points. That's it for the instructions. The loading screen here is painting itself onto the screen one line at a time. I'm not sure if that's designed to build up some kind of excitement, but here you go. It says Denarius at the top. It's got a big space station platform with an explosion, and revealed at the bottom there is a spaceship blasting that explosion, and also the Firebird logo. It's not the worst loading screen in the world, but it's definitely not the best either. So the game is loaded, as you can see, and it's got quite a nice title screen here, nice scrolling starfield in the background, nice logo for Denarius on the front there, in front of it as well. And you can see that it's by Mitch and Ag, which is actually two people whose names will come up on this screen in a moment. You can see it's produced by Software Creations, distributed by Firebird, as it says in the text there, and it was written by Michael Ager and Craig Mitchell, which is the Mitch and Ag that I was mentioning there. It also says press fire to start. That's pretty much it. You've got a bit of text info at the bottom there, all very nicely presented. Very nice tune in the background as well, nice SID tune. So yeah, all pretty cool stuff. Let's press fire to start, as it says. So what we've got here is a vertically scrolling shoot 'em up. You're the little blue spaceship. You've got to scroll over these dreadnoughts, I suppose you could call them, these spaceships. Pick up those little square pods and shoot enemies when they appear, which is sporadically, to say the least. Okay, so here's one of the enemies, and he's killed me. That thing kind of zones in on you. You've got to keep moving around to stop him hitting you and also try and shoot him. But there is one thing that is to your advantage, which is that each life you can activate some invulnerability by pressing the space bar. But there's something else I want to show you in the game, which, oh well, I would have done had I not got just smashed into again there. Since I've nearly run out of lives on this go of the game, then I may as well show it you now, which is that some elements of the landscape that you're scrolling over you can crash into and die, which is really poor. Not a fan of that at all, especially as it's not clear which items or which elements you can crash into and which ones you can't. without playing through several times. So got my name in the high score table anyway, despite that being a terrible go. Again, nice presentation here with the high score table. Typical move the joystick left right to pick your initial or letter of your name. You've got a few you can enter there, and then it goes to the high score table, which again is quite nicely presented. No complaints about that either. Okay, so let's crack on and have another go. I'll probably have a couple of goes because it's a pretty fast game. The levels don't last very long and it's very easy to die. So let's see if I can get a little bit further into the game this time. Collect the pods again. Try and avoid the things. If you can't shoot them, then you definitely need to avoid things. Now I'm going to guess this green thing is going to come along in a second again. Oh no, I was poised with the space bar. I'm pretty sure it'll come along this time then. So I'm just going to activate my invulnerability. Yeah, here we go. So it is possible to avoid this thing. As you can see, you have to sort of swirl around it. And I've died again. I guess my invulnerability ran out and I still hadn't killed it. So that thing's really hard to kill and really hard to keep away from as well. So as you can see, if you die, you go back to the start of the level. The levels don't last very long, as I think I was saying. But they are quite hard to get through. Oh, he's got me again. Oh, this is so frustrating. What's annoying is I can get past this guy. I have managed to swirl around him and kill him a few times. And I also generally use the invulnerability. But I keep forgetting to use it because I'm too busy talking. So let's give it another go. This big thing in the middle there, that kills you if you fly over it. A big sort of static thing. Oh no, I was going to say didn't kill any of those guys there. Right, let's do the invulnerability again. Wasn't what I was hoping for in terms of what's shown up, but let's see what happened. So yeah, carry on collecting the pods. I think we're getting quite close to the end now of the first level. Yeah, we are. And that's the end of the first level. Pretty unremarkable. You dock back into this mothership thing. You'll then get a countdown of how many pods you've collected times 20. That gets added to your score. And then you go into this bonus stage. Avoid gas clouds for added bonus, it says. And basically you've got to, as these purple waves come down, sort of deposit the ship into the gap. There's a bit of a guess. And the score's going up incessantly while this is happening. So the longer, oh, I've moved up the screen now, and then eventually you'll crash into them. No explosion or anything, big yellow blob, and then you move on to the next level. So let's see what happens here. It's similar sort of thing. Get the pods. Avoid things that kill you. Oh, like that thing which killed me, and I guess that's probably going to be game over now. Yeah. So again, I've flown into something on the landscape trying to avoid stuff, and it's game over. But I got a much better score that time. Is there any point having another go? Probably not. I think you've probably seen as much as you're going to see because I've never got past that point. Those vents which you might have spotted, you crash when you die when you crash into those, and you also die when you crash into the sort of plinth that's next to them as well. So very hard to get past. So instead, let's listen to this nice music and go through the review scores. So firstly, the packaging I thought was pretty poor. Random space objects thrown on the front. Not very good instructions either. So I'm going to give that a 5 out of 10. Presentation though is really nice. You've got this nice title screen. You've got the high score table. Nice music. So can't argue with that too much. I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10. Graphics are fairly unremarkable. I didn't even get a chance to talk about them during the gameplay. But they're pretty standard sort of space graphics for this era of gaming. You could probably knock them up pretty well. Very similar in shoot 'em up construction kit or something like that. So I'm going to give them a 6 out of 10. Sound, the in-game sounds are pretty average space shoot 'em up sounds, but this tune is very good. So I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10. And finally, playability. Well, it's got some nice ideas. The bonus stage thing's quite nice. The collecting the pods adds a little bit of something different to the game other than just the normal shooting. But the shooting element's pretty boring or an average, I would say. And the fact that you've got these objects on the surface of the things you're flying over that you can crash into, and it's pretty much a real no-no, I would say, especially as you're not quite sure what you can and can't crash into, shall we say, or should and shouldn't might be a better way of describing it. So I'm going to give the playability overall a 5 out of 10. It's a pretty average game overall, I would say. Total score is 6.7, which is probably overrating it a little bit. And I would say, well, yeah, it's just about worth it, I suppose. It's not the greatest shoot 'em up in the world by any means, but it was only £2 back in the day, so probably just about worth it. I guess the more you play it, the more you can persevere, and having that chance to have invulnerability for a little bit of time for each life does give you the chance to progress a little bit. But overall, it's pretty bang average, I would say. So there you go, that's my thoughts about Denarius. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments if you've played it. Okay then, so it's time once again to choose 2 games out of this pot for you guys to vote for and decide which game I'm going to play in a future video. Let's get on with it. So first up, I picked them both out at once for a change, just actually by accident, but the first one chosen was Go the Ghost, and the second one was Ricochet. So let me just get the packages of those and describe them to you. Okay, so Go the Ghost, it says test your skill and initiative by leading Go the Ghost through 500 haunted chambers to rescue the princess. And Ricochet says destroy the building blocks of the universe to stop Dimension 5 becoming a white dwarf. Wow. So they're the 2 options. Go the Ghost or Ricochet. Let me know in the comments which of those games you'd like me to play in a future video, and I will play it. Thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll see you again soon.